Yeah, understanding the female nature. Who understands that? Girls don't even understand their nature. Nobody can understand their nature. But yet, I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. Soapman was asking about. Said as he becomes more, his streaks get longer in semen retention. He starts to become more aware of little things that girls do and stuff. Whereas before he was unconscious of it. And so, it's a good video though. Some kind of animal out here. All right. First thing, girls are here to test us. This whole life is a test. This is what we're here. We incarnate as this like human ego, individual, autonomous character, and our job is to recognize and realize who we really are. Okay? So, everybody's going to get tested. Relationships are one of the biggest things that test us. Okay, now the way that a woman tests us, they're masters at testing us because they don't know they're testing us. They're just doing it. And if you ask them, they'll say, no, I'm not testing. It's just, I'm doing what I'm doing, But they're testers. And that's why they're so good. They don't know they're testers. And God made them that way. It's a biological wiring and programming that they do what they do. So what do? I'll tell you what they do. It's like a man's this is core level stuff. A man really desires that a woman validate him, that she trusts him, and that she loves him truly, you see? She's not using him. Good luck finding that. And even if a girl doesn't understand when the guy's saying something, he wants her to. The way he works it out in the mind is if she really loves me, she's gonna have faith that I know what I'm talking about. And even if she doesn't understand, she's gonna believe me anyway because she should know me, right? I have code of honor. I'm gonna make a video on that. I have integrity. Like I'm authentic. So can't you just trust what I'm saying? Can you just do what I'm asking you to do? And don't challenge me. You see? Women are here to not do that. You see? They're here to not only maybe they don't trust us, but they'll actually a lot of times think we're full of shit. And a lot of times we are, you see? It's very very complex and provoking this whole relationship between man and woman. It's the ultimate tool that we can really use to build character and to dissolve the ego. You see, if someone just sits and they just meditate all the time every day, and then someone else, they're in a relationship and they really learn from it and pay attention and grow from it, and when it ends, they don't act out or get drunk or high or look for another relationship to escape these lessons they learned. They stay in it and process it. This person I'd rather talk to. I feel this person will have a level of depth that the person who just meditates and does yoga and claims they're celibate, they won't have. You see, the real life experience is where it's at. I told you before, I've been in an ashram where I saw a lot of I went there with high hopes, high expectations. I thought I was going to be in the company of, realized beings and saints, and that they were going to transfer that energy onto me, and then I would be out of suffering. No, man. The ashram community is like any other community. It's full of defects of character and shortcomings and ego and a lot of suppression. You see, so... yeah, the real transcendence, where it's really at, is in life. Now, if you want to go to an ashram for a little while and just get your bearing and get grounded, it's nice. You get away from a lot of temptations and everything, and you're around spiritual company. It's making your spiritual tendencies more strong. It's cool. But at some point, at some life, I feel our higher self is going to make us incarnate and live this out in the life. This is where it really matters, So yeah, women, women, see, we're really vulnerable. A man's really vulnerable. It's like we really, if a woman knows what she's doing, man, she could really work a guy over, just by really respecting the man in treasuring his insight and knowledge and perception and trusting him. This is really on a core level what a man wants, And when we don't get that, we're super vulnerable if we love this woman. It's like we feel like she's our love, like you have to trust me, what's going on, it can really stir a guy up. And so what's the answer? To make the girl really trust us and have faith in us? No, because how are we going to do that? They're their own living being. We can't force that. We got to be one with our higher self. They say God and I are a majority. You see, it doesn't matter after that. If our relationship inside with our true self is strong, if there's a conscious contact with that, we realize the play of life. We realize that, the woman that we love who maybe don't trust us is just consciousness appearing in another form. It's the same consciousness we are, but we're pretending to be this individual form. So we have our own stuff, and then consciousness incarnates in another individual form, and then we get tested. You see, and then the consciousness, the play is that man and woman are attracted to each other, and then the experience that is a very deep, intoxicating love. That just makes everything more dicey. Just raises the ante. You got this deep love for somebody, and then they do something that makes you feel like they don't trust you, and it's like, whoa. You see, this is why people kill people if they catch the girlfriend in bed with another guy or their wife or something. They can't handle it. It's strong stuff. So we really got to get right with ourselves. This is the only saving grace. There's just no other way to do anything, really. To be ultimately satisfied or happy, we have to really get connected inside. There's just no way around it. Another thing is women, their love is very conditional a lot of times. They can't help it. They're again, biological wiring. They're very wired in want security. You see, this is what they want. If you can provide that on a level that makes them feel comfortable, they're going to feel like they love you. But if you can't do that, they're gonna it's just their feeling will change magically. And they won't attribute it to that. They'll just, I don't know what they tell themselves, but the love that was so strong will all of a sudden not be so strong. And then if they meet another man, it could be fairly quickly, all of a sudden they'll have this love that they'll feel like they love him again, and you'll be like, well, how could she get over, I thought she really loved me. How can you just stop and then, start it up again with another person? And this boggles the man's mind. Women are very emotional. They're very emotional. Their feelings, men are more mental. But when a woman has a feeling, the identity with their emotions is so strong. So they don't have the reasoning generally that comes in and wants to analyze things and say, wow, I really love this person, but now I don't. And now I love this other person. A lot of times they won't analyze that. They'll just go with the flow, They just ride the waves of emotion. Now, again, I'm generalizing. I'm not, you got to be careful there's so many angles to this. So it's so easy. Anybody can catch me out if you want and say, oh, but what about this? What about that? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I don't have time to make a 24-hour video touching all these aspects. So I'm just giving some, cliff notes or bullet points or something. And you notice they're very tuned to have kids. Again, it's another software program that God put that's very deep. Okay. A lot of times when they feel love for somebody, if they haven't had a kid, you've measured up to their designer kit of expectations of what a good a father or somebody that they want to have their baby. You match that criteria. So they're going to feel some love. And they may not know. See, they don't know. They don't know that. They can even say, I've been with women that they don't want any kids. They tell me, because I tell them at the beginning, I don't want any kids. Like, that's not my destiny. I've never felt that in my entire life to have kids. And so I tell them. I got older and I realized, well, you need to tell them that, you know. I don't know if it helps though, because they're like, yeah, I don't want any either. But what happens? If the compatibility between you two is good, the love starts to grow, automatically that instinct in the woman, that biological instinct to have a kid, is going to kick in. It was there the whole time. It was also part of the reason why this one girl in particular really loved me, is she just unconsciously thought that at some point we're going to have a kid, because she wants a kid. And if I really love her, I'm going to have her kid. And then at some point the fantasy got crashed and she didn't like me anymore. But it never gets said that that's what it is. There's always these other reasons. Oh, look what he did, and he's like this, and he's like that. And let me tell you, if that wouldn't matter if you had a kid. If you were still willing to have a kid, she'd overlook that stuff, you know. But it's like this stuff, this has to be hidden, this self-knowledge, you know, because if we didn't know that these software programs and these biological deep tendencies, if we really knew that they were really just software programs, this world wouldn't work. We have to really believe, like, this is who I am first, this individual sense of autonomous, you know, existing self. After that, all the software starts getting added. So we think that that's what we are. We don't question any of the software. You know, like, women don't question, you know, this need to have a kid. They just automatically, it's like this program. You go to school, get a job, get a girlfriend, get married, have kids, raise the kids, retire at some point, and I don't know, go on vacations or something. You know how many people follow that program? I keep getting bit by mosquitoes. I don't know what to do. Everybody follows that program. It's just, you know what? I can't even say that the reason I didn't follow it was because I was, you know, higher level and I was more conscious. No, it's just destiny. I wasn't supposed to follow it. I think I've followed this program for many lives. In this life, I had a natural inborn tendency, like, I don't want to do that again. I want to focus on the most important thing and purpose in life, which is self-realization. And then, just to make sure that I didn't forget that, I had this tremendous health issue situation. Very limiting and disabling. So I didn't really, you know, why would I want a family when I got to deal with that? I can't even take care of my own self hardly, let alone take care of a family. So I always knew I didn't want that. And then by the time I started getting balanced again in my body, it's like I had enough wisdom at that point to see, oh yeah, no, this life is totally dedicated to realize this natural state, this consciousness that we are. I want to realize that while I'm still in form. You see? This is the goal. And I started reading books and going to teachers and traveling the planet and listening to these other beings who were really authentic, just helped make that stronger. And so, anyway, so it's very this conditional love that most women have for a guy. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I don't hear it ever talked about. Like, nobody ever told me that growing up, or if they did, maybe people tell us, but we can't hear it because we're so in the program that we couldn't hear it. And if we did hear it, maybe we didn't understand it. But it's still, this isn't talked about so much. I don't know how girls will feel about this message, but it just is what it is, you know. I'm not blaming them, and they're great, and I'm going to make a video about how great they are also. So everything's paradoxical. Like I said, there's so many different angles I can share on. Girls are great and they suck. Men are great and they suck, okay? And then everything in between. So why am I making this specific particular video right now? This is just what I'm doing. I don't know why. I'm not concerned. I'm flowing and I'm making the videos that I'm supposed to make, and I don't know why. So if a guy, you know when the relationships really work? It's when a guy, he's also, so women are identified with playing the role of wanting security and for good reason, because they have babies and they're programmed to really look after the baby. If they weren't, the babies would die. It's not like that's a program that they're just so want to take care of the baby, you know. If that program wasn't there, they'd just be like, why is the kid crying so much? Like, go away, you see. So God had to put this high level software to make them just care so much, you know. So so that's the role they're identified with. Subconsciously, biologically, karmically, every which way. That's why their love's conditional. Because they need security. Now, if the guy, you see, this is when it works. If the guy's identified with the role of being the man, and I'm taking care of the family, I'm the provider, you see, and she likes that, and he likes that she likes that, they're going to get along good. She loves the fact that he's just willing, you know, everything's for the family. I'm sacrificing for the family. Everything's for the family. It's cool. I'm not knocking that, okay? Even if it sounds like I am, I'm not. So she likes that. And he also likes that. It gives his sense of manhood a boost. And you know that's masculine ego in software. Ego means individuals. Ego doesn't mean like, okay? It just means ego is individual existence. The strong belief that I'm this individual and I have these these roles that I'm playing, and this is really who I am. This is ego, okay? So everybody's infected with it. Even awakened beings are infected with it, but they know they have the infection. That's the difference. It's okay to have the infection if you know you have it. Then you're conscious of it. It doesn't rule, you know, your whole existence. So if the guy's really identified with the role of being the breadwinner and taking care of the family and sacrificing, and she's identified with security and having the kid and getting somebody to take care of her, that's going to go real good. So those relationships work. Now the last thing, the highest relationship. See, I always got to share the highest because this is my favorite. This is why I make videos. If I couldn't share on the highest, then I don't think I'd make videos. There's plenty of people talking collective stuff and always working on the level of the mind, using the mind to fix problems that the mind creates. Like, how are you going to do that? The mind create the problem. You know, how are you going to fix it with the creator of the problem? I'm a little excited today. I drank a bunch of tonics in the morning. I like to live off of all morning and day. I like to drink just liquids. So you do that, plus you're preserving your sexual energy, and you sleep good, you're going to be full on, man. I'm full on, you know. So the highest relationship is when the man and woman both know that this relationship is just a vehicle. It's a vehicle to recognize who they truly are in essence. And they use each other to uproot certain sensitivities and vulnerabilities and character defects and shortcomings and all that, because that's what guy and girl does. They expose all these things that normally wouldn't get exposed if you're not in a relationship. And they know that, and they're conscious of that, and they use it for that. But their real love is not personal. It's for God. It's for this divine. They have a sense of what this divine creator is. They know, they can feel like that their consciousness, that this body is inside the consciousness, and they know their consciousness. It's like the body and their actions and everything is happening in front of them. So they love that consciousness. And then they love the consciousness in the other being. The man loves the woman, even worship her, but he's worshiping the consciousness in that woman. And she's doing the same in him. And then stuff don't get confused. You see, it's not a personal love. The ego in the man's not looking for validation. And it comes up, sure, it comes up, but then again, that's something to look at. It's like, oh shit, the relationship's being used for the highest purpose. It's bringing up this this insecurity that I'm trying to get her to fulfill. Okay, I see that now. I see that. I'm going to write about it a little bit, do some inventory on it, expose it, and then ask this consciousness, let me be free of this. You see, this is how you use a relationship for the highest reason. And then the love between the two, it's on a whole nother level, man. Divine love versus personal love, human love, it's on another level. And then when you bring that into sex, I tried to make a video about it. I don't know how many people got that. It's like a meditation when you have sex. It's a spiritual practice, This is what happens. This is next level stuff. And these are the people I'm talking to. I don't know how many are out there. I'm talking to anybody though that can resonate in that it speaks to you. If these words land inside you, this is for you, And see, the ego wants to get in sometimes and say, oh, well, what he's talking like he's, not necessarily me, anybody that that has some realization. People like to bash them, like who are they? They're a human being just like we are. What's funny is because if we're talking about school, like you got to go to school to be a doctor for like 7 years. If you go to school for 7 years, be a doctor, and you have your certificate and your little PhD label, nobody's going to question that. Somebody that didn't go to school, they're going to respect, like, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. But when it comes to spiritual evolution, you don't have no degree or certificate, you see? It's just something, we can use the same words. Somebody who's more spiritually evolved can use the same words as a serial killer. Serial killer could learn those words and repeat them. So how do you tell? You see, what makes the difference? It's the vibration behind the words. Well, who can, this is why it gets complicated. Who can sense the vibration in the words? Only someone else who's already close to embodying that, if not embodying it. So the ones that don't, their ego isn't going to get any of this, and they're just going to tear the person down who's speaking, like somebody could be speaking real truth, like whoa type truth, and the average person won't get it. Their mind will interpret it like, oh, they think they're better than me, and oh yeah, right, or whatever. I don't know. This is why it's not so easy to wake up, man, because it's a trip. The mind is a trip. It can imitate Jesus and Buddha and everybody, and play the role of spiritual character, and a lot of people will believe it. If they're also playing roles and characters, they're going to believe this character because that's all they know. They know the vibration of character playing, you see. Someone who's recognized their self beyond this human form, they're going to have more sensitivity. They can tell. 2 people can be saying the same thing, or 10 people, and they can say, no, this one's actually speaking from experience and truth. The other 9, they're just parroting some, things they read in a book. So anyway, girls are good. That's my point. It's good. We need them. This planet would suck if we didn't have them. And it's not personal. All these things I'm saying, it's not about, see, a girl will take it personal if she really believes she's a girl. If you know your consciousness, you don't take things personal. Maybe I should make a video about the nature of man, just to make balance. But I thought maybe I combined the two a little bit today. You can let me know, All right, I'm going to close. It's almost 24 and a half minutes. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.